Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil Gaiden. That's it! I think I've figured out these controls! I've got the sub headed back towards the starlight. I'll bet Leon will be happy to see us. If he doesn't shoot me first. By the way, I'm sorry for treating you so rough back there. There's no need to apologize. I don't know how to explain it, but what you were doing, it somehow felt right. It's more than likely because I have a daughter about your age. Oh. Hey, I've got an idea if we ever get out of this mess. Why don't you come and live with us? That is, if you don't mind having a sister. Oh, Barry, that would be wonderful. I think so too. Now we're near the starlight. Let's go find Leon. Barry and Lucia prepare to board the starlight. The ship's barely floating. We don't have much time. Let's find Leon and get out of here. Suddenly, the B.O.W. bursts from the hatch onto the sub's deck. Barry! Man, not again. Before Barry can get a shot, the creature, in a sudden burst of speed, dives towards the side of the starlight and disappears. It's bad enough that the ship's about to sink. Now I've got to watch out for that thing, too. Let's head to the ship's engine room to see if we can find Leon. And thus, time for another trek over to the boiler room area. And for some reason, the zombies are kind of stuck on this screen. I don't know why they are. I guess this is meant more to be a cutscene than anything. With that said, the road to the boiler room is partially blocked off. You need to take a very specific route there this time, as there are now flames blocking off certain doors that you can no longer take. In particular, you need to come to the boiler room using one of the elevators to its direct north or south, so you need to get up to the ship's deck, main deck at least, and then take the stairs down like we originally used to get up to the security room. It's a little awkward. You can't even take the main lobby door because it's blocked off by fire, but oh well, I guess. It is weird though, they actively bring up like adopting and Barry's daughter. Again, they end up, a lot of this game ends up kind of being reused in some regards later on, like the parasite angle is reused in 4. That whole angle with Barry having an adoptive daughter and his main daughter being brought up is, again, directly brought up in Revelations 2. It's weird how this game is non-canon, but very minor elements of it ended up being canonized in different ways later down the road. Also, in the case you want to go get ammo from that special room over in the first-class quarters, you can't even do that at this point because there's fire blocking that off. Admittedly, it's a tedious walk back, but I appreciate that they have to reroute you through areas you've already been in a way that's different, and they give a reason as to why it might be different. It's something, again, I feel they could have done a couple times throughout the game to help spice up the traversal of the ship, but they don't, so oh well. Would have liked a different song for this Endgame portion, though, because this is like the final countdown here, more or less. If I were to compare where we are in the game's plot to a mainline Resident Evil, you're in the lab at this point, but you're at the lab on the trek towards the door that leads to the first Tyrant fight. Be careful with zombies along the way, by the way, as while some random ones will spawn, of course, you want to save as much ammo as you can for what's coming up, because we're coming up on the final boss fights. I would recommend, unless you're using that glitch with the gas launcher, save especially that and the rocket launcher, any ammo you have left on those, for the boss fights proper. It's just funny thinking back, though. Like, I brought up how I first played this game in high school via emulator and all that. And it honestly kind of did scare me a little bit back when, if only because it's rare to see a game attempt this kind of atmosphere and, I don't want to say tension, but survival horror-esque mechanics on the Game Boy of all things. But I look back and, like, this is easily the least scary Resident Evil. Mind you, I think part of that is also age, because I don't think Resident Evil is really a scary period anymore, barring the occasional moment of tension via health or certain intervening forces kind of being intimidating, like Mr. X in the Resident Evil 2 remake, or Nemesis, period. Like, the scariest I think Resident Evil gets outside of that is the occasional music track that just adds atmosphere to it. I'm mainly thinking of the original basement theme in the original Resident Evil, not the, tuba death sounds from, I forget if that was DualShock or Director's Cut DualShock. Because there's a lot of versions of Resident Evil 1. It's easily the version of Resident Evil 1 that got the most, Street Fighter-esque treatment. And hey, I guess we found Leon. Leon, you're alive! You came back? What did you expect? Now come on, let's get out of here. Barry, I don't think that's Leon. What? I mean what I said. I don't think that's Leon. Suddenly, B.O.W. You actively can avoid a fight with this thing if you kind of bait it up to the top and then go below like it's a zombie. But the B.O.W. does have a bit more of a movement range compared to the normal zombies, partially just because it is a larger sprite. With that said, this is where the B.O.W. gets not only a graphic change, but it also becomes a little more brutal to fight, I find, as it's a little more aggressive, and I think it has a little more health. This is where I could recommend using some rocket launcher rounds. Just don't use your gas launcher yet. And it's not even dead, it just gets stunned. But thankfully at this point as well, like I mentioned earlier when we first reached the boiler room, ammo here has respawned. So I think you can even die here over and over again. I believe it's as Leon during the fight with, like... Actually, maybe it's right here even. Either way, at some point here in the boiler room with the B.O.W. fight, you can die to one of them or a zombie over and over again. And the ammo will respawn every time you pick continue, but continue also keeps in mind your status, so you can just grab infinite ammo that way. As Barry and Lucia enter the engine room, they see Leon sitting on the floor. Barry? Hold it right there, Leon. If you are, Leon. What? First you leave me behind on this sinking ship, and now you're trying to order me around? I gotta ring your... It is you! Chill out, man. I can explain. Oh no, what was that? Sounds like the hull just exploded. The ship's flooding. Leon, we haven't got time to argue. We gotta make it back to the submarine. Alright, and you don't even need to head down to the engine room proper at this point. You're meant to leave and get back to the outer deck again. But I am, because I believe there's some more ammo down here, and I'm gonna want that as much as I need it. Also, I say infinite ammo in this area technically if you die over and over again, but I think that might be specifically for handgun bullets, but I don't quite remember. I think I've only done the trick once, and that was back when I first played it, because I remember reading it up on GameFAQs back when, or something like that. It may have even been NeoSeeker back then. Because I did tend to use for, if I needed game cheats or walkthroughs, I went to NeoSeeker before I went to GameFAQs. Nowadays, that's reversed. In fact, I usually have GameFAQs as a pinned tab in case I need a quick, like... Wait, what was the thing I'm looking for here again? Either in a game I'm playing on a repeat playthrough or even for a first time. Namely for, like, how do I not screw up this side quest kind of deal? Though I do, if I end up using walkthroughs for myself, end up using non-spoiler ones just for story stuff. Because I think at one point I was playing, may have been Final Fantasy 15 or something, and I got a major plot point spoiled by a GameFAQs thing for a side quest I was looking at, and I was like, oh, god damn it. And I don't usually care too much about spoilers for myself, I more so care about it for others. Whenever it comes to, like, a newer release. But even then, when I see something, I'm just like, oh, damn it. Oh, well. In fact, I had that also happen with Persona 5 Royale, because I was looking up a character, and then it said, character name, Death. I was like, what? I feel like that's happened to a lot of people with, like, anime characters or some shit, too. It's like, damn it. Either way, the trek back out to the outer deck, you need to take the same route, more or less, that we used to get in, barring the fact you don't have to go to the upper deck anymore. But they respawn damn near every zombie along the way, and you need to fight most of them in order to get past them, and it's just a waste of ammo. I think you can get around some of these, and again, you probably could just run away from them, but I want to save my ammo and my health items for the final boss. So I'm like, rocking a hard place right here, honestly. It's rough. If there's any place I really can recommend using the infinite ammo gas launcher trick, it's right here, honestly. Also, I'm just now realizing, kind of eerie that the two games had that one Capcom employee was involved and ended up having gas rounds of some kind, because Code Veronica also has gas rounds. Only like 3 of them in the game, and they're powerful, but very situational because you would need to use the grenade launcher with them. I think they're programmed to do more damage against one particular fight than anything else, too. You know, I feel maybe some of the problems with avoiding enemies in this game because of how being grabbed works could have been avoided. And there's more random spawns, goddammit, that's annoying. If they just widened a couple of the hallways, like maybe 1 or 2 person lengths. And I know, like, the closed-in, smaller hallways is a very big thing for Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 1 Spencer Estate. The hallways in that are relatively thin. But it's usually still wide enough that you can easily avoid enemies as long as you're good at, like, baiting them around and then avoiding them from there. Because of how hitboxes work on this, it's very easy to just lead yourself into a sprite accidentally. Because they have more range than you do to run around them. This particular zombie loves spawning in, and I don't like it. Well, they'll give it this, though. It's the closest thing this game has to a jump scare. This is particularly the point you're going to really want to make sure you have high amounts of ammo. Save any amount of assault rifle, shotgun, anything you have that's higher powered than, like, the handgun. Because you're going to want it for the final boss. You could theoretically use the knife, but the knife only has, I think, the shortest range in the game. You can only use it, like, when the enemies are right in front of you. But I want to say this might be one of the least damaging knives in the series. So arguably the contender for worst Resident Evil knife, which says a lot. Because, oh boy, sometimes the knife is just not very useful. Resident Evil Deadly Silence 4, 5, and Remake 2 probably have the best knives overall. I guess technically Remake as well, but the knives in Remake, there's like 2 variants of them and they're a little bit different. Oh, hi there. And I've always found it weird. You can't actively target the B.O.W. You need to walk into it for this little pre-attack cutscene to happen. And it's this thing again. Use all the best weapons you got. Try and make all your hits count. There's really no battle advice for Resident Evil Gaiden outside of ammo conservation, which is kind of the same as how it works in main series. But main series also, like, there's an amount of auto-aim going on, so you don't need to really worry about missing your shots. I think Resident Evil 1's the only one where you actively need to be a bit more reliant on your aiming. Suddenly out of the darkness, the creature lunges, grabbing Lucia and pulling her into the sea. I don't believe this! Leon, wait here! I'm going after her! Leon waits for Barry to surface. Pulling Lucia from the ocean, they both make it onto the deck of the ship. Take it easy, girl. You're going to be all right. That's it. Deep breaths. Ah, jeez. Not again. Eerily standing behind Barry and Lucia is another Lucia. What's going on? I'm Lucia. Don't believe her. I'm Lucia. Don't either of you move a muscle. She's lying. I'm the real Lucia. Barry, look at this. Lucia nicks her hand with a knife and oozes red blood. Ouch! Good thinking, Lucia. I don't believe it. It's turning into another creature. I'll give it this. They do the Tyrant double phase thing kind of right like they do in the main series usually. With that said, it's the same thing but more powerful, and it is easily, I think, the healthiest enemy in the game, so use your ammo as best you can, and your healing items. As you might be able to tell, though, I am very low on healing items, and wow, I just realized this thing also has some range. It can reach you from a surprising distance. Don't be surprised if you run out of ammo by this point in the game. You might have to rely on the knife, because most playthroughs I've played, I cut it kind of close. If you're better at avoiding enemies, you might have more ammo than I do at this point. Hell, you might have more because you went out of the way to get more ammo, but not so much in my case. Also, I'm just now realizing this is also technically the title screen theme they're playing here. Huh. I guess that's kind of cool. Let's get out of here while we've got the chance. Move it! Barry, Leon, and Lucia finally make it onto the deck of the sub. Look! The Starlight! She's going under. The three look on as the Starlight tilts upright and prepares to sink into the freezing cold watery depths. Looks like we finally made it. Yeah, it looks like we're going home, Lucia. Oh, Barry, you don't know what this means to me. Your hand. It's cut and it's not healing. You're right, and my ears aren't ringing anymore. That means I've lost my power. I'm normal. Hey guys, I'm getting through to headquarters. HQ, this is Leon. Mission accomplished. We're heading home. And I should note the credits proceed like a cutscene where you need to press the button to move it forward. That's Resident Evil Gaiden. It's probably the worst mainline Resident Evil in terms of like the classic style. It's not canon because that's not Leon at the end of that, and Leon's very much still Leon in later games. It had potential, and I think it's ambitious what they tried to do, but I honestly think the original Resident Evil port would have been a more interesting game than this. I'll give them credit for using Barry, and they ended up revisiting some ideas from this later on, but it's just not a very good game. It's not my least favorite classic-style Resident Evil, though, I'll give it that. I dislike Zero a lot more. As well, it's technically a better programmed game. I dislike the structure of Zero's level design a lot more than this. But with that, I'm going to need to end this LP off here. Thank you guys for watching, have a great night, take care, and I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then.